Delusional girl math. If I have a man who said that he didn't want to be in a relationship but is doing all the relationship things, then I have a man who's going to eventually change his mind and wants to be in a relationship with me. If I have a man who said that he hated his baby mama, but his baby mama is pregnant again, then I have a man who only went back to her because we got into an argument. Now he's going to be moving in with me. We're going to live happily ever after and start our own family together. If I had a man who said that he's going to divorce his wife, but it's been 3 years and he still lives with her, then I have a man who's probably going to be divorced on the 4th year, so I'm going to stick around a little bit. If I have a man who's never answering my phone calls or my texts, and he's ghosting me, then I have a man who's probably busy or didn't see my text messages. If I have a...
Shut up! Then a few days later, he texted me again, mentioned that he was going to be in town, and I actually did not answer him that time because at that point, the guy I've been dating that I'm really into was kind of back in the picture, and it looked like we might be hanging out again, and I didn't want to mess that up. So I did not pursue this other guy. Well, anyway, this past weekend, I was out in town, and he happened to be out and about. And I was watching him out of curiosity to see, I guess basically, did I dodge a bullet, or would he have been somebody that would have been, somebody I should have dated? It's not that I was interested in him this weekend. I'm back with this other guy, but it was more of just like a curiosity thing.
Right, yeah, of course.
And I was kind of watching him, and at one point, one of the waitresses came over to the table, his table, right when I was kind of coming out, passing him, and I looked over and I noticed that he had his hand on her butt, right? He was pulling her in close, talking to her, and she didn't seem to mind, and I immediately got the ick. Immediately.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As in today's episode, we have this oddly looking woman, guys. This woman looks as if, I don't know, aliens tried to draw a human without ever seeing one. They just receive some info like, oh yeah, they have eyebrows and a mouth and long hair, females. And they sort of draw this, they put up with this. It just looks really odd. And then if you take all the fake up and the fake eyelashes and the botox away, she will probably be left with just a skeleton and some muscle tissue here and there. But gentlemen, enough about that. Let's get started with this woman and see what she has to offer.
Delusional girl math. If I have a man who said that he didn't want to be in a relationship but is doing all the relationship things, then I have a man who's going to eventually change his mind and wants to be in a relationship with me.
If he wanted to be in a relationship with you, he will already be in a relationship with you. Guys, what is it with women trying to change men, right? Why would you go and be in a relationship with a person if all you want to do is change him in order for him to be another person? This is something that I don't get. It's probably the feelings that they get of trying to make the impossible work, that I can change him.
If I have a man who said that he hated his baby mama, but his baby mama is pregnant again, then I have a man who only went back to her because we got into an argument. Now he's going to be moving in with me. We're going to live happily ever after and start our own family together. If I had a man who said that he's going to divorce his wife, but it's been 3 years and he still lives with her, then I have a man who's probably going to be divorced on the 4th year, so I'm going to stick around a little bit. If I have a man who's never answering my phone calls or my texts, and he's ghosting me, then I have a man who's probably busy or didn't see my text messages.
Yeah, sure. Just cope more. You know what I mean? And of course, guys, we have to keep in mind this is what she does. I mean, dismissing all the red flags. This is what she does for the chads, not for any man. Right? Any man that is just walking out of a divorce, or any man that is not answering her back, she's going to dismiss him in 0.1 milliseconds. But this is what she does with Chad. And again, what kind of logic is that? This is like if you give a a kid $100 and you tell him go to buy groceries, but he's like 7 years old and he comes back without the groceries, and you ask him what happened, and he told you, well, I met this stranger on the street that told me that he really needed those $100 right now because he's really sick and he needs them to survive, and I gave them to him. And you're gonna tell him, oh no man, you just got scammed, they stole them from you. And he's gonna answer you, but he told me he needed them to survive. It's like, what logic is this, man? But he told me that he is busy after not answering me for 2 weeks. But he told me I really mattered to him after sleeping with 6 other women. This is the kind of person that gives money to the Nigerian prince. You know what I mean, guys?
If I have a man that's a sneaky link that says that he's not looking for anything serious, then I have a man who's going to love my vagina so much that all of a sudden he's going to want to be with me. If I have a man who's only answering his phone when he's on the road or when he's in his car, then I have a man that's a truck driver.
And this is supposed to be satire, irony, just a joke, but we all know she's been there, she's done that, and there are multiple women like her. I mentioned the example of a kid getting scammed, guys, but the difference between a kid and this woman is that in the kid's case, it is natural for him to be, a little out of touch with reality. It's natural for him to be immature and naive, because that's how kids are. It's not that they're stupid, they don't have the critical thinking. Their brain hasn't developed to sort of make a difference between reality and not reality and scammers and all those things, right? They believe in Santa Claus, but this woman, you're a grown human. You're supposed to, at this point, not believe everything they tell you, right? You're supposed at this point to not get scammed and to not get led on by men who say the same things every time. Chads say the same things every time. They talk about the moon and the stars and about how special you are. Meanwhile, they say that to every woman. It's your desperation that makes Chad's strategy work. It's not that Chad's strategy is some, like spider web, really entangled, and it's extremely hard to pick up that he's lying to you. No, all the signs are there. It's just your delusion is extremely high.
Dating story. These are so fun. So I have been pretty steadily dating one guy for about 8 months. Prior to that, I was single for 6 years, didn't date a single person, focused on my kid post my 25-year divorce. Now I'm back out there exploring, having a good time, but I've primarily just been dating this one guy. But there has been a couple of times when we were on a break, if you will, or ghosting each other or broken up or whatever it was at the time. And during those times, I explored dating a little bit or seeing somebody else.
Explored dating. At some point, I have to give props to these women for coming up with new, creative and original ways to say that they've been smashed. They always come up with some new euphemism that essentially means they've been pumped and dumped, but it's like adorned with flowers, to sound more whimsical.
And one of those nights I happened to be out and I met this guy, and we talked just for a little bit, and he asked me for my phone number. I gave him the phone number. That night he texted me, and there was a tiny little bit of banter. It was more of just a nice to meet you. And then a few days later he texted me again, mentioned that he was going to be in town, and I actually did not answer him that time, because at that point the guy I've been dating that I'm really into was kind of back in the picture, and it looked like we might be hanging out again, and I didn't want to mess that up. So I did not pursue this other guy. Well, anyway, this past weekend, I was out in town, and he happened to be out and about. And I was watching him out of curiosity to see, I guess basically, did I dodge a bullet, or would he have been somebody that would have been, somebody I should have dated? It's not that I was interested in him this weekend. I'm back with this other guy, but it was more of just like a curiosity thing.
Yeah, guys, just curiosity. It's not like I'm still thinking about my options. It's just curiosity. I will never consider dating him. Yet at the same time, I'm thinking if I made a mistake by not doing so. This woman is so opportunistic. She's a vulture. And women like these are such a red flag. Women that are constantly calculating what is the best option, what does my man lack that other men have, or what are the benefits of dating my man, is such a red flag. So if we analyze this woman, she walked out of a marriage for reasons unknown. We'll go back to that later. Then she starts dating one guy, but they break like 7 times. In all the 7 times they broke up, she immediately went out to meet with other guys, see other men. Then she went back to the guy, the first one. The second guy, or one of the many, texted her that he's going to be in town. She dismissed him because in her brain this first man is better than the second one. But at the same time, she thinks about the second one, calculates her opportunities, puts them both on scales to see which one is better, and still thinks about the second one and about the benefits of dating him, right? It's like, imagine you're with a woman, guys, that is constantly comparing you with other men. It's so disrespectful, and you don't deserve that. And guys, it's not about you being bad. You can be the best in the world. If another guy has a slightly better haircut, women like these are gonna think about him, and are gonna think about the benefits of dating him. It's just so disgusting. And getting back to the marriage, I don't know why that marriage failed, guys. What do you think is the reason? Do you think the marriage broke apart because the man wanted to, because the man decided to do so? Do you think the man was lacking in any important aspect? Or do you think that this woman will never be satisfied no matter with whom she is? She's constantly comparing options all the time, and she just found some little insignificant aspect of her husband that she didn't like, and she divorced him after a few months, saying irreconcilable differences, or saying that she felt emotionally unfulfilled.
And I was kind of watching him, and at one point, one of the waitresses came over to the table, his table, right when I was kind of coming out, passing him. And I looked over and I noticed that he had his hand on her butt, right? He was pulling her in close, talking to her, and she didn't seem to mind. I know she has a boyfriend, so I know she is not dating him, but she didn't totally seem to mind either. And I immediately got the ick, immediately, and I thought, ugh, I don't know why, but as a...
Yeah, jealous much? And guys, this woman has been on the channel previously. She's one of those divorced women that say how impossible it is to keep a marriage. It's always funny to see these women date after divorce, because they had their whole life in order. They had a marriage, they had kids, they had stability, and they traded all of that. And later, you see them making these TikToks. It's like they are 15 all over again. Just all the emotions, all the I'm dating this one boy, but does he like me back? I don't know if we can make it. I want to marry him, and then they break up in 1 week. The sort of stuff that women at 15 go through. They go back to this. They had their whole life in order, but they just couldn't put up with the fact that their husband is not perfect. Wouldn't you know it? Men are not perfect. Yes, we do mistakes. It's not that every man deserves to be divorced from. This is why women have lost credibility when they say, I come from an abusive marriage, I come from a marriage where they didn't love me, they didn't prioritize me. These are concerns that absolutely could be a reason for divorce if taken to the extreme. But in these women's cases, guys, it's just the man got home a little late from work, or he decided to prioritize something in this specific time frame because for whatever reason, or they just had discussions because he's not willing to put up with this woman's bullcrap every day, right? It's like any small reason, give this woman the free pass to, oh yeah, I'm gonna divorce him, and it's absolutely on him, and I am the victim, and he's the perpetrator of all my sadness and bitterness in life. What a bullcrap narrative this woman has, and what a bullcrap reason she gives for divorce. Same as a lot of women, guys. They've just lost credibility on the reasons why they divorce. But now let's get back to her pathetic little sad story about dating multiple men, and none of them eventually committing to her because they see her as the vulture she is. What a harpy.
A woman that just grossed me out, that he would immediately grab somebody and pull them in by their booty like that, you know? So I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm new to this whole dating scene, if that is just a normal thing or what, but I kind of feel like I dodged a bullet on that one. So let me know what your thoughts are.
And before we move on to this next one, guys, again, it's just the resemblance to a 15-year-old girl, right, that comes back from a party and says, I was this with one boy and we were making out, but then I went for some punch and I turned around and I saw he was hugging another girl. Oh no. These stories, you know, that they go through dating are just so sad, man. They're so sad. As a 40, 50, 60, I don't know how old are you, as a, let's say, 40-year-old woman, to be telling those stories on TikTok for the whole internet to see is just so sad, man. You're at such a low point in your life, so miserable. It's just pathetic, guys. You know, it's not even worth picking up upon.
Am I wrong for this? Anytime I tell this story, no one ever agrees with me. But I swear when I think about it, I'm right. So when I first moved to Atlanta, I didn't know anybody. And I joined Bumble and matched with this guy, right? We had been talking, I think, for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I got a good vibe. So anyway, I had asked him if he knew any handy people. Because I had a lot of like furniture coming into my apartment. And I needed help putting it together. Although I did not know him well enough, I trusted him enough to come to my apartment. Now, in hindsight, that was probably a bad idea. But it is what I did. So before he came to my apartment, I had a conversation with him about payment because I didn't want for him to come and I didn't like him and then he felt like he got. So we talked about payment and I told him I'd give him a certain amount for him putting together like 2 pieces of furniture. Well, he put together a bed and a desk. So I don't remember exactly how much we agreed on, but I did say I was going to sell him the money. So when he came over like early this Saturday morning and he ended up like starting right away. He was definitely somebody that I could see myself talking to on the long haul. So it was cool. Like he was we were getting to know each other. We were talking about family. We were talking about life, all this kind of stuff. So around lunchtime, I ordered us something to eat. And as we were eating, we were like really talking, right? It was good. So when he was done, he kind of like chilled for like another couple of hours just to like rest. And we were really vibing and he was like, I would really like to see you again. And I was like, cool. So when he's ready to go, we go outside and he gives me a hug. And then he was like, okay, so I'm going to text you my Zelle information so you can send the payment. And I'm like, okay. In the moment, I was just a little shocked, but I didn't like let it on. I was just like, okay, just text it to me. So the next day I sent the Zelle payment and I was just like, oh, thank you for coming over. I really appreciate it. And then I didn't say anything else. And he was texting me and I did not respond. And he wasn't used to that because obviously we had been like texting all day long, you know, talking throughout the day. It was good at that time. But then I just decided that the fact of him asking me for money after like we had a good day, and I do understand that we agreed upon it, but I just thought it would be different since we were going to start dating. So finally he asked me like, what's up? And I was just like, honestly, I know we decided that I would pay you for that, but I really thought it was tacky that you actually asked me for the money afterwards and you took it. So I did end up cutting it off and we didn't talk again. But when I told my cousin about it, she was like, you guys agreed on it. Like, I don't understand what the problem was. And honestly, like, if I'm gonna date you and you know you put together some furniture for me, you're gonna charge me? I don't know, like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, so here's what I think, guys, and leave me your comments down below. This man didn't behave like a gentleman, right? I mean, a gentleman will do that for free because he cares about women without expecting anything in return, you know, the old-fashioned way. So he's not a gentleman. What he is smart. He is intelligent, because this same guy has probably done things for women for free. You know, when going on a date, he will pay for the meal, he will open the doors, he will gift some flowers, and you know what he got in return? A big crap. This is what he got in return, right? It's not that, you know, it's not gentleman-like to expect something out in return, you know? It's not that men do good things for women because they expect something in return all the time. It's just when you do things for women and you give them resources and attention and your time and you get nothing back, the 10th time that happens, you're starting to consider if you're not being a clown for doing all of this for free, right? And you mentioned that you've been using Bumble, you moved to a new town, you start using Bumble. You're probably the kind of woman that has dated multiple men throughout her life and probably has slept with the Chads, but giving nothing to the average Joes, right? So this man is quite clever? Why would he want to pay or do something for free, you know, exchange, in this case, labor, without getting anything in return, if all the chads in your life didn't have to move their little finger to get between your legs? You know what I mean? You know, you expect your possible date that will eventually, maybe, probably escalate into a relationship to already behave right from the get-go, from the door, like he's your husband. You know, just come to my house, set the table, set something up, you know, make all this labor, already like a husband. No, he's a stranger. You just started talking a few days ago. Why do you expect him to treat you like a husband? And I wouldn't have a problem with these guys if we lived a century back, right? If this was 1 century ago, because at that time, when you were interested in someone, you treated him like he was special. You treated him in some way like the other person is already your partner. But this is a century ago. This is when we could expect both parties to do the same. Yet nowadays, women don't do this. They expect you to treat them like you are their husband, to pay for the free meal, to, you know, walk them out, pay for the gas, etc. Yet they don't give back that same treatment. They treat you like you're a stranger. The moment you ask something out of them, like, can I come to your house or something? Oh no, I didn't know you yet, you know? The moment you expect anything out of them, oh, sorry, I'm not your wife, I don't see a ring on my finger, well, I don't see one on mine either. Why do men have to, you know, get the losing aspect of this deal, right? They have to do all the things that a husband will do, but you still don't do anything that a girlfriend is supposed to do. You know what I mean? So this is what I think, guys. But now, thank you for watching. I'll leave you off here. Gentlemen, leave me your comments down below, and I'll be happy to see you next time. Have a good one.